أهلا بكم مجددا وننتقل إلى واشنطن وحوار أجريته مع جيم عبدو أبرز رجال الأعمال في مجال العقارات في العاصمة الأمريكية. هاجر والد جيم إلى ولاية أوهايو عام 1948. ولد وترعرع جيم ضمن عائلة متوسطة الحال لينتقل بعد إتمام دراسته بالعلوم الاجتماعية والتاريخ خلال فترة وصفت بالأسوأ اقتصادياً إلى ساوث كارولاينا. هناك أنشأ جيم سلسلة مطاعم بيتزا ليبيعها بعد نجاح ساحق ويستقر في العاصمة الأمريكية، أولاً كمراسل في البنتاغون ليجذبه لاحقاً عالم العقارات فيخوض هذا المعترك ويترك بصمته في العاصمة مساهماً في إنمائها وتطويرها. في مسيرة عنوانها العمل الدؤوب والمثابرة يحدثني جيم عن شغفه بالعقارات مبدياً تعلقه بمسقط رأس والده ليعرب عن هذا الحنين من خلال علامة شركته التجارية وهي شجرة الزيتون التي تزين العديد من مباني العاصمة.
I'm Jim Abdo. I'm the president and CEO of Abdo Development. We're a Washington, D.C. development company. We do urban infill projects. And one of our specialties is adaptive reuse and the preservation of historic buildings as part of our development work.
ولد جيم عبدو في مدينة كنت في ولاية أوهايو لعائلة متوسطة الحال.
My father's from Jaffa. He's Palestinian. Very proud to be an Arab American. My mother's American. They met here when he left in 1948. He came here as a 17-year-old. And so I really feel like I had the best of both worlds, coming from two very sort of dynamic forces that were a part of my life. And I think it served me very, very well.
بدأ حياته المهنية في عمر مبكر في هذه المدينة الصغيرة.
I was the local paper boy. I was the kid that knocked on your door in the wintertime and shoveled your snow. In the fall, I raked all your leaves. In the summer, I mowed your lawn and I weeded your flower beds. So I used to joke that I was cash flowing 12 months out of the year from the age of 7. So I just appreciated what business was all about and learned the fundamentals of business at a very young age. It stuck with me. So I'm always looking at new ventures and new ideas, and my mind is sort of constantly working.
تخرج عام 1982 وحصل على شهادة في العلوم الاجتماعية من جامعة ووستر تزامناً مع فترة كساد شهدتها الولايات المتحدة لينتقل بعد ذلك إلى ساوث كارولاينا باحثاً عن مستقبله المهني.
I was 23 years old and I was, a broke college graduating into the worst recession since the Great Depression. And I didn't have a lot of money, but all I could afford to eat was pizza at the time, and I found that there was no good pizza there. So I said, well, here's an idea. I'll open up a pizza restaurant and I'll serve really good pizza. And that's what I did. And I did it with next to nothing in terms of equity and dollars. I scraped together everything that I could, and I actually lived in my first pizza store for about 6 months. And I would get up in the mornings and shower on the beach, sometimes in 25-degree weather with cold water.
بعد نجاح تجربته الأولى افتتح جيم سلسلة من المطاعم المماثلة، إلا أنه باعها لاحقاً وانتقل إلى واشنطن حيث اتخذت حياته المهنية منحى غير متوقع.
I chose DC because of the cultural diversity, because of the amount of culture that the town has, the livability. I did a lot of radio work when I was in college, and I really enjoyed radio. So I ended up having a meeting with the director of the Radio Television Gallery at the Capitol building and talked to him about my thoughts of maybe getting back into radio. He made a few phone calls and he said, I think you could do well in this business, Jim. And my first day on the job in the Pentagon, the Gulf War, the first Gulf War started. And I ended up putting in about 10, 11-hour days back to back to back throughout the entirety of the war, which was an incredible learning experience, as you could well imagine.
لم يكتف جيم بعمله مراسلاً ودفعه طموحه إلى خوض مغامرة جديدة.
And I was a big believer in restoring and having people think inward as opposed to thinking outward. And that's what I wanted to base Abdo Development on, and that's what I did. The first project I did in DC was an old historic row house in Georgetown. and it's one that I can do every aspect of. I can pull my own permits, I can oversee all the construction, I can be the general contractor, and I could learn this business literally from the ground up on a single small project. And I did, and it was a wonderful learning experience. I sold it, made a nice little profit, and said, okay, I'm ready to, I've got the confidence now to start ratcheting up and doing slightly bigger projects, and that's how I started building Abdo Development.
حيث رأى الآخرون منازل مهجورة، منكوبة ومناطق غير مؤهلة للعيش، رأى جيم فرصة ذهبية للاستثمار.
So my idea was to merge two worlds, have this old eclectic building, but have it look and feel very new, very modern, have all the bells and whistles that people wanted with new construction, and have very innovative designs as a part of it. And that's what we delivered on. And I felt that we needed to break down some barriers and sort of push the envelope and allow some of these other transitional neighborhoods to start their renaissance and have people start thinking about going into neighborhoods and living there and having a vested interest as an owner in areas of the city where they had not thought of before. It was purposeful in the properties that I took on. They had to be abandoned. They had to be, buildings where I was not displacing people to create new housing. And that was a fundamental component of Abdo Development, and it has been for almost 15, 20 years now, where we're not going to be in the business of displacement, where we're going to take people that are less fortunate and move them out so that we can bring people of higher wealth in. That was a no-no from the start. One of the early obstacles that I faced was financing, getting banks to believe in these transitional neighborhoods that I wanted to go into. When you drive a banker up and you show him a burned out, graffiti-covered crack house and say, that's the building that I want to develop next, they try to grab you and take you back to the better side of town. So, how did I get beyond that? I invested with my own money. I ended up not even using banks in some of the earliest projects that I did.
وأيضاً يقوم جيم عبدو بإنشاء مشاريع خاصة به. آخر مشاريعه هو بناء مدينة جامعية على مقربة من الجامعة الكاثوليكية في واشنطن، وهي شقق سكنية ومحلات تجارية وأماكن يتيح فيها الفنانين عرض أعمالهم.
We're getting ready to do a big retail project on the corner of 14th and Rhode Island, which is now one of the most prominent corners in the city. And we're also starting to build, as part of an adaptive reuse project, a 110-year-old building that we're going to be building the first pod-style sort of micro hotel in the nation's capital called the Hotel Hive.
I fell in love with this building 15 years ago, and I just thought, how could this building be here? I mean, how hasn't someone stepped in and restored this thing?
توسعت مشاريع جيم عبدو إلى مدينة ليتل واشنطن في ولاية فيرجينيا خارج العاصمة.
Well, Washington, Virginia is this charming little village that's about an hour and 20 minutes from big Washington. It's a town that was surveyed by George Washington when he was a land surveyor when he was 17 years old back in the 1700s. We bought an old bed and breakfast that had closed down, my wife and I did. We transformed it into what's now called the White Moose Inn. And by bringing in new businesses and bringing in some new people that want to share in that little town's future, it's not there to undermine its historic integrity. If anything, it's there to preserve it.
إيماناً بقوة الفن في تحسين المجتمع، تبرع جيم بمبنى لمؤسسة أرتوماتيك التي تعنى بالفنانين وتؤمن لهم مكاناً لعرض فنهم.
I come from a family that didn't have a lot of money, but it was a very giving family, and I learned that from my parents. My wife, also from an immigrant family, she's from Vietnam. So we have this sort of, this common thread between us in the understanding of what it's like to come here with nothing, to build something for yourself, but also to never forget our roots and never forget to give back and help others. The Middle East is an area of the country that resonates with me because it's in my blood. I would love to figure out a way, and I'm looking at that right now, and ways to maybe help with entrepreneurial funding for people there that want to expand their ideas, their thoughts, and opportunity in areas like Gaza or West Bank and in Palestine, where they're dealing with some real challenges, economically and otherwise. I think the key is staying focused, willing to think outside of the box, being creative, and being very disciplined. And then at the end of the day, it's really about honesty and integrity in every aspect of what you do. And don't take shortcuts. Don't try to circumvent. You know, be upfront, be transparent, and be inclusive.
Considered a leader in the renewal of Washington's historic districts, Jim Abdo and Abdo Development.
I've received some wonderful awards here in the city from DC Building Industry Association, from the mayor, from I was once named a Father of the Year award, which I loved because it included my family and my children. But you know, I think the biggest thing that I think I get the most pride from is my family. And you know, I always joke to people, the greatest development I've ever done is my children. They make me the most proud. And as I watch them grow up and I see the pride that they have in going into these neighborhoods and seeing the buildings that we've created and seeing how we've helped turn some neighborhoods around, that's probably the biggest reward that I get.
مشاهدينا، انتهى لقاؤنا لليوم. في النهاية أذكركم بصفحتنا المجلة شو على الفيسبوك للتعرف أكثر على مواضيع المجلة. أنا كولين فرحات بانتظار تعليقاتكم، راسلوني على المجلة@الحرة.com، وأنا بلاقيكم الأسبوع المقبل بنفس الموعد.